pop in for a little visit.
Battle mode, bros. We're gonna rock the walls off this joint.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Nacelle biker mice from Mars. First three figures, the Vinnie, the Throttle, the Modo, and we're going to get into looking at each one of these, articulation, and discuss price, comparisons to the original Galoob, the 2006 series, and then, as you can see, we've got bikes from the 2006 series to put them on, and how well does it work with upgraded articulation. I mean, guess, probably pretty good. But we're going to get into looking at these, and I got to say, right out the gate, I'm a little impressed. They're not perfect. I have a couple of suggestions, but overall, I'm really pleased with them. But let's get in and take a look at these coming up. Here they are on the package, and I like how it's packaged. You get to see the figure, you got the plastic in there. The artwork pays homage to the original. It looks fantastic, and instead of Galoob, it says Nacelle with the kind of Galoob circle around it. Yeah, looks really good. And here is the back. Now they each have some sort of a bio that can be read there, and the back doesn't show much, but they each have a bio and the same drawn picture, the animation. There should be some sort of a show coming soon, I hope. All right, so here they are out of the package, and they do come with quite a bit of accessories, but I want to say just handling them and setting them up here, they feel good, they look good. I'm actually impressed and surprised how good they look and they feel. Nacelle did a great job with them, and we're going to get into it. I do have a couple of recommendations on them, but it's kind of like probably not going to get heard. But getting into them, we'll look at each one. But the first thing I want to do is sort of factor out the same things they all have. They all come with a banana. It's not a banana. Oh, it's a hot dog. Yeah, it's a hot dog. I left the rest of the hot dogs in their packaging because I don't want to lose them. And they're all the same hot dogs, so it's not a big deal. They all got this helmeted head, and it's a good idea to do it like this. Just swap the head out, have a helmet on it. Now, that's something they added later. That wasn't initially part of it, which was kind of cool. And then they also added more articulation to these guys as time went by, and they were showing off the prototypes. That's kind of what held this up, was that they kept adding stuff to these. And for a $35 price point, I mean, I think it's actually pretty good. A pretty good price point for $35. But let's get into looking at each one of these individually, and then we'll do some comparisons, and then look at them on some bikes. Here we are with Modo, and the first thing I didn't realize was that they were going to do the hands. I just didn't think about it, but this is a gloved hand, and it's kind of opened, just have a casual open. We got a punching fist. Then this is his robotic hand, and of course it looks different than the other hand. The only one that's going to have pretty much identical hands on both sides is Vinnie. Here's his other head, and it looks kind of like a sneering head. In fact, this looks more like him. So let's see about swapping these, which popped off easy. Probably a little bit too easy, but it's holding on, so that works. Now he also comes with this giant gun. Now this is the same as they have with the Vintage, and when we do the comparisons, you'll see that. Now I think the Vintage one does some shooting out of it. It's like a friction shooting, which they did not include in this, which is fine. And then they all come with the same gun here, and it's more tune accurate, I believe. Let's go ahead and get this out of here. And this is just sculpted in, so that doesn't shoot, which I don't need it to. I'm okay. I don't need it shooting. Now, getting into the figure himself, there's his secondary head, and it looks pretty cool. Goes side to side, up and down on a ball joint. With a lot of neck sculpt there. Looks like he came right out of the cartoon. Looks fantastic. Looks like he's about to ask you, what did you think? We are turtles or something? I do like this chest piece. It looks nice. It is a separate piece. It's like kind of rubbery, which is cool. The shoulder pads are, I think, molded in, though. And then you get down to articulation. They've got a nice waist swivel here, but when you line it up, it doesn't show the line really all that bad because of the way the abs are set up. It looks really nice. Maybe this piece here that's helping with kind of hiding all of that articulation. You see it a lot more pronounced on the back, but not on the front so much. So that's pretty good too. On top of it, you do get the waist swivel, so you can get a lot of stuff going on there. The belt is separate piece too, so it kind of gets in the way of that waist swivel. Let's see, you got shoulder out to about here, bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and then you've got, so you have a swivel on the hands, and at the same time you've got all kinds of direction up and down, so you can go every direction with one hand, not needing to get two separate hands for all the different directions, which is kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Like Super 7 does it, you get 6 different sets of hands, so you have one set of hands that goes up and down, and one set of hands that goes left and right. Why can't, I don't know, I don't understand why they can do it, and they're a new company, and Super 7 couldn't. So now that I'm just kind of rethinking how Super 7 does their hands. And the double jointed elbow is nice. It doesn't look too bad. Now, way down here, they did do this kind of waist area a little bit different, but it goes out to here, up to here, back, stops, the butt stops it, thigh swivel, and then double jointed here. We got swivel right here, and then side to side, up and down on the feet. So there's a lot of articulation in this guy, which they just kept adding articulation as they were going. And then the tail. Now the tail swirls around, it's on a ball joint, and I keep knocking it off because I'm trying to get as much range out of it as I can. The original ones just went like this, but this is on a ball joint, so it can actually go back. I would like to, and maybe I'm the only one, I'd like to see like another ball joint inside of a ball joint inside of a ball joint to have articulation for the rest of it, just so you can kind of, because it has to be this one formed tail. It would be nice to have a little more articulation in the tail, but that would actually break the sculpt a lot. So I don't know if the trade-off is worth it, and I'm just kind of curious what everybody else would think. But there's Moto. He looks good. There's his articulation. There's everything he's got. Let's look at the other ones and then do some comparisons, and I won't need to do all of the articulation on the other two. Here's Vinnie, and he does look pretty good. He comes with the classic crowbar, and it does, well, does it swirl or does it just move around in his hand? Because the original one, it kind of swirled around, so this is all just one piece. So it makes more sense to me that the crowbar, which I've never seen a crowbar that looks like this before. This is an interesting looking crowbar. I'm sure it exists. It's just I've never seen one in real IRL. Then we have this thing here, which it does retain the feature. It's like a claw clamping feature. And that's kind of cool too. And then here is kind of a happy face. Do y'all want me to put the happy face on? Instead of the like looking like he's... is it a happy face or is it a crazy, I'm about to drive 1,000 miles an hour face? Okay, 100 miles an hour? 150 miles an hour? All right, cool looking figure. Really does capture the character of kind of the wild guy, kind of the maverick. And then here is his head. I'll probably pop that on when we do the motorcycle segment. And then he does come with, they all come with about the same hands, like some opened hands if you just want to like open it, and then fist punching hands, which is great, and then the same gun, which is great. But now looking at him, I do like how they kind of capture him. He does look like he came out of the cartoon, of course. These things here are a little bit rubbery, so that's cool. I don't want to see him break. I'm always afraid of that. There's those earrings in there, just great looking sculpt on all the heads. And then he's got a scarf, which is independent, so I guess if you pop his head off, you can end up popping a scarf off. He's got his straps on there that looks pretty cool, and again helps hide some of that articulation that's going on. He's got his belt, so they all have the separate belt. It's not just painted on. And then the knee pads, everything down below is very similar, although they did not reuse parts on this. So one thing that someone pointed out somewhere, that they are all slightly different sculpts, nothing's reused on them, which I thought that, I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have reused some stuff between these two guys at least. But yeah, the boots look a little bit different. The knees look about the same though. Maybe the knee and the lower leg, maybe the legs and the knees are the same, but no, even there's like dots on this. But yeah, pretty cool looking figure overall. Let's just go ahead and get into, that's Vinnie. Let's go ahead and get into looking at Throttle. One thing I want to point out about these, and it's with all of them, it takes a little bit of playing with the feet to get them to stand well, especially when they're carrying such heavy accessories. I had a little bit of trouble with getting him to stand, just had to play with the feet a little bit. They stand fine, you just got to play with the feet a little bit. And as you can see with him, he stands just fine. But they have some pretty big accessories. That's just carries over from the original cartoon and toy. Now, let's start with the head sculpts. I think his head looks great. Fantastic. Would I want one of the other heads? Do I want this head here? Yeah, I think I do. Oddly enough, the ones I usually roll with what's packed when it comes to heads. But when it comes to this set of figures, and I had some trouble, I guess they got trouble with this head. Now I've got this one on good. I did it off camera, but when it originally showed up, the head was taped on. So evidently they knew there was some sort of issue with it maybe popping off in the package because of just the way it's designed. Now it's on there good now, so it's not going anywhere. But rattling around in the package, it probably knocked the head off because there was tape holding this head on it. Anyway, there is his helmeted head. Looks pretty cool. And then he's got the hands, which, just like with Modo, he's got different hands. One's got a glove, so it's got the reverse side. One's got a glove, and one is ungloved. And then he's got that standard gun right there. And then he does retain this. Now, this is like takes a lot of pressure to shoot that thing, but it does shoot, which is crazy. And you just load it by sticking it in. Right? Is that how I loaded it the first time? Or was it already preloaded for me? Now I can't even remember. Was it already preloaded? Interesting. Maybe it was preloaded. It also has two more in case you lose one. It just kind of goes along with what the vintage one had, but pretty cool. Let's get a look at his sculpt. I like his jacket, which is separate. His scarf is separate also. And yeah, this design, you do see that line for the articulation with him, but it's still not that bad because of course, the way the abs are. And then he has two belts, or is it all one? It's all one belt, except parts green, parts tan. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. Good looking figure. Does have a holster that does not holster. It's just all for looks. It's all for looks. And he's got that tail, like they all do. Pretty cool looking figure though. It's really impressive, especially when we get into comparing it to the vintage stuff. So much better looking than the vintage stuff. And there's so much detail on just this jacket. As simple as it looks, they've got some detail to it. To match that cartoon, that's what they did. They wanted to come in, match the cartoon, and I think they did a pretty good job with it. Modo stand. See, it takes a little bit of fiddling with them to get them to stand. Not that they're bad at standing, it's that maybe there's the joints are all really tight in the feet right now. Now to get in here on comparisons, I want to show that in the cartoon, I believe the height difference was not was big, but the toy itself for Galoob was not a big difference. As you can see right here, they're all about the same size. Modo is slightly larger. He's actually shorter than Vinnie. Throttle shorter than Vinnie. And as you can see, with Nacelle made Vinnie the shortest, then Throttle, then Modo just towering over them, which I think is accurate. I just, in my mind, think of these two about the same size and him just bigger. And that's the way I look at it. But anyway, with the toy line, it didn't feel like much difference at all in the size from figure to figure to figure. And not a big deal, but that's just saying Nacelle doing it right. And that's what we want to see. That's a big part of why we do this kind of stuff. Now you can see the same weapon over and over, but let's look at each one at a time. You can see the weapons, and this kind of spins, this little handle here, which is why I have him holding it like that. And then there's the grabby thingy. The grabby thingy difference, actually size-wise, they're not much different size. To tell you the truth, it probably is more accurate size-wise for the Nacelle. Like, it's more in scale. But that's kind of cool, comparing those accessories. And here they are with their accessories, almost identical, just really cool. Almost identical in size, too, just slightly bigger. They got all the colors about the same, with the red scarf and the green belt, and there's the molded-in gun, holster, bit, the knee pads, everything's very similar. Over here, for whatever reason, I'm sure it's cartoon accuracy, but there was a brown strap here and this green strap there. So that's a difference in the vintage. And then let's get, and noticing the feet, got to get them positioned right. And then Modo, which is similar, yet different when it comes to this gun. And you can see you kind of push on this, and it's a friction-based shooting mechanism, but the gun's very similar and almost the same size. Very interesting. Color's a bit different. It's a much lighter, like a golder, and the vintage one is sort of brownish. The light can capture that just right. But yeah, that's kind of cool. And one difference is that you have this, it's like a little laser gun pistol thing for his hand that pops out. Now, they didn't include that. I don't know if it was an oversight or they just didn't feel like messing with it. They didn't include that with this. So that would have been nice if they included it in the Nacelle one. And then looking at it, it's kind of purple. I actually have another one that's got some purple on it that might actually be matching this a little bit more. This kind of gets me into thinking about, are they going to do recolors to this? I don't know. There's some gold on his chest, purple on the straps. It's real strange. So this line is really big with recolors, especially European recolors that are hard to get and expensive. They did do a lot of that. Just kind of like Turtles did a whole bunch of different versions of the original Turtles. I wonder if Nacelle's going to go that route with these guys. All right, so here's a comparison of a G.I. Joe Classified. Of course, my favorite character. And then Storm Shadow. And then we've got Destro of Super 7. No, Super 7 gets a lot of crap. And yeah, they're under fire now. Anyway, with their investors making some changes. But I think that Destro looks really good. As you can see, he's about the same height. So they're kind of in there with the Super 7 height-wise, which is kind of cool. And then this is Super 7 kind of using the Mattel mold for a Skeletor, so you can get that whole idea of size and scale. And this is how much bigger they are than Motu Origins. I have my Scareglow from Motu Origins, and he's got a new hand coming with Flipper. All right, so here they are next to the 2006 versions. This was from the 2006 cartoon. They do look different, but similar. These, I picked them up like, oh, these are 6-inch scale. And oddly enough, the Modo's about the same height, but the other two are shorter than what Nacelle did. And I just felt like the 2006 ones were just scrawny, except for Modo, oddly enough. They were just scrawny. Now, these do not have the level of articulation that Nacelle does, but it's quite interesting to see what another company did. I forgot what the company's called. People want to say they're like El Greco or something like that, but I'm probably wrong. Anyway, there is the 2006 comparison. Speaking of the 2006 toy line, this is the 2006 motorcycles. They made a couple of different ones that have different action features and stuff to them, but for the basic look of them, they all look about the same. This one here is close. Is it close? Let's do some comparison. This is kind of what it looks like next to, push that back, the original bike, and there are some differences, obviously major differences in these vehicles from the original ones. The biggest difference, though, is they made that green, which doesn't make any sense to me because it's supposed to look like this. And then this one here that's red. So proper motorcycles would be nice, but I don't know if I'm going to be in on them. I don't know if I've got room to display all that, but I might be in on some proper motorcycles. I guess I got to get their helmeted heads on the bikes too. Yeah, forgot all about that. It's still kind of cool. I think I would still display them on the bikes with just their standard heads. I don't think I'm for the helmeted heads, even on the bikes. It's a cool inclusion. I like how they put the plastic over it, but yeah, I think I'd rather just have the standard heads. I mean, it's not safe. It's not preaching safety, but it's cooler looking, I think. All right, so let me know what you think about these guys. Are you in on these? Are you in on any other of these other toy lines that they're doing? I really am excited about Power Lords. I hope that they do all of them. I'm excited to see more from this toy line, and I think they're great. $36 price point is pretty much right on par with all the stuff you're getting, the quality, and let's just be honest, the niche market to this. It's not a lot of people. This wouldn't make it at Walmart. It's not something that'd be enough. Couldn't produce enough to have these at Walmart. Get the price down to like 20 or 25. 35 is decent. You're not getting robbed for 55. Like, just be honest, Super 7 price is way too high. Super 7 needs to compete. This is in NECA territory at the around $35, $36 price point, and they're doing a good job. I look forward to seeing more out of this company. Like and subscribe, and Tydirium Hanger out.
This is living. Nothing to do but rocking and rolling and racing through the cosmos.
Nice trick, eh, citizen?
Thanks, mister. Here, have a dog.
Dog, eh? I've heard of these. I'll check it out. Ride free, citizen. Hold him up. Hey, listen to this. Whoa, hey, don't break a nail. We just came in to get my bike fixed.
Yeah, we're the good guys.
Yes, ma'am. We're mice.
Mice?
You were expecting turtles, maybe?
Mice. With antennae.
Gotcha, sweetheart.